Civilization is by no means a bad game. I open with that to acknowledge its competence and to damn it. Civ is the archetypal 4X, and in some senses Civ 7 remains a standard bearer. It's better, in a general sort of way, than most recent attempts to unseat or deconstruct it. There's lots going on, production values are high, and it innovates with a new structure and revamped diplomacy, city expansion, and more. But it's dull. Even some of its most flawed challengers are far more interesting. At times, when I hit a stretch of just one more turn, it felt less like an in-joke than a curse. The most immediate changes are to the formula of taking a historical culture from an ancient village to modern world domination. Your choice of leader is now untethered from their historical place. A full game is divided into 3 ages that require you to choose a new culture, with bonuses less numerical and more specific than humankind's. Each age partly resets foreign relations, trade, reserves, and building effects. They downgrade cities into towns, themselves a new feature. Newly founded settlements can only buy, not build, a limited set of buildings, but grow faster and can halt that growth to become specialised tributaries instead of cities. The intent is, I think, to break away from slogging through 6,000 years of one path, of warring forever against that one rival, to allow adaptation and experimentation. The first 2 ages close with escalating crises that force you to choose negative modifiers, evil doppelgangers of social policies which are unlocked with culture instead of science until the act break. It's a move towards narrative, an unpredictable challenge to make the game and you less rote. In practice, they're either irrelevant or deeply irritating. Picture a Civ where you're suddenly told everyone's unhappy for no reason. You can influence where the damage falls somewhat, but unless you knew in advance, chances are you didn't focus on getting everyone's happiness above 12 to 18, considering there's little benefit to being above 1. Excess pulls into an empire-wide celebration, several turns of whichever dull bonus your otherwise irrelevant government type provides. In older versions of Civilization from my childhood, when a city was happy, a gentle tune played as people paraded past their town, proclaiming, "We love the Emperor." In Civ 7, you make number go up until you get 20% more of another number. Angry citizens would rampage across that same town and might declare independence. In Civ 7, they burned down the library and the exact fucking buildings you need to produce things that would make them happier. My recourse was to pay for repairs. They burnt them down again on the next turn, and the next, and the next. What did the library do to you people? Eventually, an unhappy town rebels by seamlessly joining another, potentially allied empire. You can't contest it without warring on that empire. You can't grant independence or trade it away. You never exchange anything, in fact, unless you're at war, in which case the AI will concede exactly 1 settlement. My metropolis in exchange for survival? Sure. My 2 villages in exchange for survival? And your entire empire? Never. You could raise happiness through trade. Goods acquired via expansion or merchants can slot into settlements to bump production, food, etc. It allows, for example, a single Hex Island city that can still build. But you can only redistribute resources after acquiring a new one, just as you can only change social policies after researching a new one. Most goods become useless in the 3rd age until you build a heap of infrastructure, making my trade specialty almost as laborious as its interface. It's arbitrary. Civ 7 has ideas to add a narrative spin, but the dully numerical execution has the opposite effect. Narrative events are eye-glazing pop-ups amounting to get 50 culture, or get 80 food. One crisis was a religious conflict over, I don't even know. I founded Buddhism, someone else Orthodoxy. None have any relationship or meaning. There's something very uncomfortable about Pachacuti converting people to Catholicism. The only difference is what bonus you picked for converting cities, which nobody seems to mind. There's a terrible conflict, I'm told. The reality, sometimes a foreign missionary visits a city, so my people burn down 3 buildings. I repair them one by one for 20 to 100 of my 40,000 odd gold. It's the same for natural disasters, which can add a chance that some farms will remain damaged for hours because you didn't manually check every settlement. You can't name continents, rivers, or even your own cities, deepening the sense of disconnect, a lack of character. you can't fill in. Age progress is driven by what are essentially achievements, divided across 4 legacy paths. Age 2's economic path was the least tedious, a colonialism-themed race to siphon resources from distant lands. But its culture path equates culture with religion, which means acquiring relics, mostly through unexciting research. Age 3 is about ideology, democracy, fascism or communism. Capitalism is a civic, like colonialism, which comes with a quote about how bad it is, so that's alright then. I thought this might be the first time I'd needed to think about what other empires might do. It was not. It meant so little I'm still not sure if anyone else researched an ideology. Nobody even told me when several wars started, although to be fair, I ignored them without consequence. The narrative falls flat, conveying no meaning, binding with nothing, but insisting on chores. Though I recognise the concept, eras defined by more than technology, they're imbalanced and worse, dull. Dull 2 is diplomacy, built on generating influence and spending it to initiate or counteract overtures. Nobody shows any personality, nobody has anything to say, and nowhere is anyone's motivation explained, beyond the agendas which alter relations based on some arbitrary metric. One leader dislikes you if you have too many mountains, which would be funny if he ever mentioned it and it wasn't depicted as a bland -30 leader agenda. I think of 6 Ages Ride Like the Wind, where you get guys who obsess about goats, or roast people in song. Relationship modifiers don't specify who they refer to, and you don't even determine your own opinion. If a leader settles on someone's border, you automatically like them less. There's nothing to them. We were allied in the last age, have great relations and loads of trade. I reject your alliance offer, -30 to relations. Alright, whatever. I forgot you existed anyway. Civ 7 has another key conflict. It wants to be sleek and approachable, but teams with hidden rules and details. Information is absent or buried away in submenus, while microscopic icons, another issue, deliver poorly organised, irrelevant news every turn. Some text is needlessly confusing, and the encyclopedia offers paragraphs on the historical context of grassland, but not what you can actually do with it. Statistics screens are almost non-existent, laborious layouts make poor use of space, its breakdowns are unsortable and near useless, and there's no unit list. If you park an explorer, you're never finding him again. Civilization 7's interface is ashamed that it's a strategy game, but all its obscuration makes it less accessible and convenient, and contradicts the city growing element, which poses endless questions about what to build, where, which tiles to expand into, and why in the Christ can't I demolish buildings? There are many adjacency bonuses I thought I was using, yet I sailed through to Age 3 with double everyone's numbers, only to implement a +1 for every adjacency policy that amounted to +9, while alternatives produced triple figures. As for war, I hesitate to mention that I once went through 2 ages without a single battle or alliance because the other was a tedious whack-a-mole with limited, poorly organised information. Thanks for the red alert when a soldier saw my town. Next time, please use that tone when my capital is besieged before it's conquered. Don't start me either on how it wants you to unlock stuff. Half the cultures were greyed out because I hadn't jumped through hoops, and the new game screen hints you must grind for memento bonuses. I don't know if I unlocked none because I play offline, because it's pre-release, or I plain didn't qualify, and I don't care. Civilization 7 is pretty and detailed and sounds fine. I caught that one tune from Colonization. AI turns are perhaps the fastest I've ever seen, and its UI has enough potential to make some of my complaints feel patchable. And as an aside, at the time of recording this, it looks like some of them have been. Its design broadly works, and a certain kind of city optimizing fan may even love it, but its lack of character is endemic, the extent of its annoying habits and oversight shocking for a series of such pedigree. It's a dull, contradictory game, and instead of showing everyone how it's done, it's felt since hour 1 like a game that leaves the 4X throne empty.
Ming brilliance shone upon the earth, enlightening all. The Ming banished the shadow of ignorance.